watch this and then we'll talk about it.
How Tamar Braxton said, if you ain't gonna leave him, let that man cheat in peace.
Cause you're not gonna you airing your business. You stress everybody else out around you for you to go right back.
I can't. If you are not going to leave your partner for whatever they're doing that you don't want them to do, don't tell your friends, don't tell your family, because they will hate your partner forever. Meanwhile, y'all having sex and y'all in the bed. Like, don't do that shit. Like, if you're not going to leave them, don't talk shit about them.
I get a lot of criticism when I tell people that I'm not really a good person to vent to, because every single time you vent to me, I'm going to ask you one of two things. I'm going to say, do you just want to vent, or do you want feedback as well from the conversation? And then I'm also going to ask, okay, what is your plan that you are actively working towards to change this situation? The reason why I asked those two questions, I asked the first one because I need to know, are you just getting something off your chest and you just want me to be a good listener? I can do that. And I asked the second question because we are not going to sit on the phone every day or every other day. We are not going to have every single text conversation. We are not going to meet up to only talk about relationship problems. So I need to know, okay, you recognize that there's a problem. You see that it is hurting you. Now we need to do something to remedy this situation. It might not be something that you can necessarily fix overnight or right then, but I would like to know that you are actively working to remedy that situation, whether it be you leaving, whether it be you setting a boundary. It might not be breaking up. I have been told that I am insensitive for having these boundaries for myself, and I have these boundaries for a couple of reasons. And this is coming from someone who has been the venter, the serial venter, the always calling and texting and meeting up to talk about a guy and the problems we're having in our relationship. It becomes emotionally exhausting and draining after a while to repeatedly hear about this crazy stuff that your friend's man is doing to them, and there's nothing you can do about it. You can't help them. I mean, you can intervene if you want to, but it's not going to do anything but cause more issues, and they're just going to go right back to them if they're not ready to leave yet. And you might also put yourself in danger depending on the situation. So imagine you see someone constantly getting hurt and you just have to sit there helpless and just hear about it. And it's almost like you're in a way saying you're okay with the things that their partner is doing to them. Also, the person that's always coming to you to vent, 9 times out of 10, that's all they're coming to you to talk about. They're never going to talk about you. They're never going to be there for you. There's never going to be space for you to ever go through anything. It's always going to be about them and what their man did. And I can understand if it's the initial start of the problem. I get it. I can understand if you are going through a breakup or a divorce. Of course, I'm going to be there for you during that. But I can't keep repeating, do you know what he said? Do you know what he did? I can't believe he did that. I can't believe he said that. Well, I can, because he did it last week too, and the week before that. And as someone who is a survivor of toxic relationships, I understand it takes a woman an average of 7 times to leave a relationship. I know that it's hard to leave. For me, once I was done, it took me 1 time to get the fuck away from him. So I do understand the kind of nuance to the situation. It's a very tricky topic, but I can tell you this. When I was going through the abuse I went through with my ex-husband, it was the women who put down the boundary with me that I am discussing with you all. I don't want to hear no more. I'm tired of talking about it. When you're ready to leave, call me and we'll figure something out. But I can't keep sitting here and hearing you get hurt and there's nothing I can do about it. You're not ready to do anything about it. I feel like I'm disagreeing with it and I don't want to be a part of this. Those were the women who caused seeds to be planted and light bulbs to go off in my head as to the fact that, wow, this is really a bad situation. If your partner cheats on you, I don't want to hear about every weekend you had an argument because he left and didn't come home till 6 o'clock in the morning. How are we going to fix this situation? You're not ready to leave yet? Okay, well, we know how he is. You've had the argument, and when you're ready to leave, we'll revisit this conversation. But there's nothing at this point that's going to change if you aren't. Now, I can help you come up with a plan if you're ready to get out, sure, depending on what the situation is, because I'm not going to put myself or my children in danger. I'll help you execute that plan. But as far as just over and over and over and every week, we're talking about the same thing that he did, and you guys argued, and you cussed him out, and you said this, and then you're still going through the same shit. We're not doing that. At this point in my life, maybe when I was younger, that shit was cute, where y'all just sit around and complain about the idiotic stuff that your man did. But I'm at the age now where we're talking about other stuff. We're bettering ourselves. We're moving forward. I talk about men for a living, but in my real personal life, I don't talk about men at all. I talk about men 0 times. So in other words, if I'm not getting paid to talk about men, I'm not talking about men. And, people get upset with me when I say this, but you got to understand, it is emotionally taxing for your friends to hear about you getting mistreated week after week after week, and to just keep watching a train wreck happen, and there's nothing that they can do to help. And it's just tearing them apart to know when they get off the phone with you, you're going back into battle just to be hurt again.